Hello, Drags here. So, this video is important for if you want to mod in your own waves to your own maps, or you want to make it so your custom weapons run enemies. It's really simple. I've done it here in the modding wave test and it works completely fine. So, with this, you're going to need these here. So you're going to need containers, creature tables, loot tables, and waves. So, for example, you can find these in the default folder. So, let me make one here. So, I'll go into default again. I'll call it video test. So, here, of course, it's empty. You're going to want to go into the default folder and pick out one container. So, I'm going to borrow the container Barbarian 1H, which is the one-handed. So that's there now. You've got to create a folder for it. So this is going to be containers. So you have the containers. Now you go into the default again. You grab creature tables. So I'll just grab the Barbarian random one. So name this creature tables. And you have that in there. Then you want to grab, the loot tables. This is where you want them to have your own custom weapons. So I'll go into default again. I'll grab a loot table, which is I recommend, these are for the apparels. And then you have the shields and the weapon 1H. I'm just going to grab the weapon 1H. If you want to edit the shield yourself, feel free. So now you create your own folder, which is loot tables. Pop that in there. And then finally you want waves. Simple one. So here you can grab them from the default folder, but I will grab them from my 1v1 waves. So I'll grab the easy no shields wave one. Okay, so now I have that one. I'm going to create a folder named waves. So you have everything set up. Now, what I do recommend is you rename these. So I'll rename these video test. So once that is done, once that's done, you first have to start off with the containers. So I have the video test container here. It contains these simple stuff. So I recommend you open all of these first. I recommend with the software Notepad++, just makes life so much easier. So now you have the 4 main points here. So at first you want to start with the creature table. So the creature table is the loot table. So the loot table displays all the weapons you want. So rename the ID to whatever you want, but as long as it's not the same ID as the normal waves, unless you want to replace the normal waves as they are. So I'm going to rename this to video test. So here you have all the item IDs. You want to rename these IDs to the IDs that you want the weapons. So here I want Drag's one-handed sword. So now you have the one-handed sword as my item ID. Leave that as it is. It's fine. So let's see what other weapons I have installed. So just to let you know, two-handed weapons don't work very well at all. So don't use them. But I will use my Kopesh here. So to find the ID for the weapon, you go into the item weapon, for instance my Kopesh, and you'll see the ID right here. So I want the Drag's Kopesh. And you don't have to use the prefab name, you can just use the ID. So I want the Kopesh there. Make sure that it's working fine. And then I'll add one more, my rapier. So rapier here, that's my ID for my rapier. So then I add that there. So you can delete these. Just make sure you delete the comma at the end of the last one. So the comma is no longer here, otherwise the loot table won't load. So that's your loot table now. The ID is a video test. So now you go to container. So in the container, you want to rename the ID again to video test. So with the video test, these are all your apparels, and then you have the loot table ID right here. So you want to change this to video test. Now this is using the loot table here. So that's it. That's all you need to do for that. Unless you want to change the apparels here as well. So that's that. Now we go on to the creature table. So the creature table, you have these things called container IDs. These are using this here. So I want to rename every single barbarian H1 with video test and bow as well. And then I'm using the random table here. So I want to rename shield 1, shield 2, and finally shield 3. So all of these, oh yeah, I also want the barbarian mage. So now you have all of these as container IDs. You want to change the ID of the creature table to video test, whatever you want to name it, it doesn't really matter. So that's that done. And now you go finally onto the wave. So the wave, I'm just gonna use video test for the ID and everything. Just make sure it's not the same as everything else. The order of how to do these waves will be in another video, which I'll do in the future, on how to add in your own maps, add in your own waves into the book to make sure they look neat and ready for big mods or little mods, depending on what you want to do. For instance, my big mod I recently created needed a lot of formatting in terms of the order of the files, so a little bit of a pain in the ass. So say you wanted this wave in another map, you just put a comma here, you put in quotations the name of the map, so say the Krusty Krab, and that's how you do that. So there's no comma at the end of that unless you want another map underneath. Now I don't have the Krusty Krab map installed, but that's how you add waves to maps. So get rid of the comma. So player health multiplier depends how much HP you have on when you enable the wave. So you can change that to 0.1 and your health will be 10% of what it normally is. The enemy's health also depends on their health. So say this is 100, it'll be 100 times more health than they would have usually. So now all of these you can see is Barbarian 1H. Now this still goes off the container IDs. So what you want to do is you want to change the creature table ID to video test, and you want to change Barbarian 1H. There we go. So the brain ID, unless you want to change that, I'll explain how to do that in a separate video I'll make in the future. But the creature table ID and the container IDs should be what you named yours earlier. So now let's test this out. So I will open Blade and Sorcery. The only reason I haven't opened it up yet is because you'll be able to see errors that you may have had, that you may have not had but you have now. So it'll see here if there's any error. So as I go down the list, so there's all the files. You see the error was the brain. This is of a separate mod though, so don't worry about that. So now I will go into the other. So I will now go into the map. So I should start my character. Make sure you can see it. Yeah. So it looks a bit weird on the video, but don't worry about that. So and I load into my game, you'll normally see errors pop up by there. That's just the brain again, don't worry about that. So now I have the wave. So it should go video test, should be right at the bottom usually, but you can change that. So now I'll go with my, let's grab a sword. An enemy should spawn with your weapon. So for instance, my weapon there is the Kopesh. Now as you can see, they attack like that. That's normally due to the parry point and the points there together. So the Kopesh is pretty good. My sword, they tend to hold it a bit weirdly, but it should be the same there as well. Sometimes the holder point / parry point can be a bit odd, depending on who made the weapon. So for instance, I have the Kopesh shirt. I'm still waiting on the other weapon as well. So there's my rapier there. So as you can see, using all my weapons there. Now I did create one earlier just to show an example of where the parry points could sometimes go wrong. So we'll just kill this guy here. So it should come with my axe. You see how the parry point is a little bit odd? That's because my weapon it's quite old, to be fair. But for instance, that one is holding my katana. That's a two-handed one, so it's a bit weird. But I'm just showing an example of how it'd be. So now he's holding my axe. So he's holding my sword there, and that's how you do the custom weapons. So, as I've stated in my weapons, in my last wave mod, if you want me to add your custom waves to your map, so if you've made the map, I'll do it for you, but if you did not make the map, then I will not do it. But I will make them the waves for you if you wish, when I can in my own time, unless you want to do it yourself by the guide in this video. Anyway, I hope you enjoy making your own waves for your map. I will release mods and videos on how to do certain things in the future. See you later.